Bonjour à tous et à tous, on se retrouve pour cet épisode 3 de The Stanley Parable Deluxe. Là, je vais juste mettre 1 heure du matin, confirmé. Votre heure préférée de la journée? Ou bien n'avez-vous pas résisté à la tentation de m'indiquer la bonne heure? Après tout, je sais combien vous appréciez de me donner une heure exacte. Et voilà, je suis maintenant curieux de savoir si 1 heure du matin est la bonne heure ou pas. Voyons cela avec un autre curseur. Quoi? Quel est le degré d'exactitude de 1 heure du matin? Inexact. Vous savez, je voulais juste vous dire que cette heure soit exacte ou non. Je passe un excellent moment à régler ces paramètres. J'ai l'impression d'en apprendre plus sur vous et vos préférences. Il est bon de collecter des données. J'aurais aimé qu'on ait plus de curseurs, mais nous les avons tous utilisés. Comment ça, tous utilisés? Je pourrais inventer de nouveaux curseurs pour recueillir des données à votre sujet. Wesh. Ça n'est rien de compliqué, oui, je vais en fabriquer de nouveaux. Wesh. Ça devrait être la prochaine fois que que vous démarrerez le jeu. Waouh. Space un peu. Commencez le jeu. Bizarre, vu qu'avant ils me disent. Ils me demandaient si genre j'ai déjà joué au jeu avant ou non. C'est bizarre. Ok.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
J'ai bien envie d'appuyer sur le bouton, mais bon. Hâte de voir ce qui se passe. Wesh.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Vas-y, attendez, je vais le laisser choisir.
It's, left.
Non, tu vas voir, c'est pas à gauche.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just
Wesh.
back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Mais ouais, le chien, il est pigé. Bon, là, je vais pas passer par le
All of
couloir
his
du coup.
co-workers were gone. What could
Quoique,
it
non, non, non,
mean?
attends, il a raison, faut que je
Stanley
l'écoute depuis le
decided to
début
go
là.
to the meeting room.
Je
Perhaps
vais
he had
comprendre
simply
pourquoi.
missed a memo. When Stanley...
Hein?
Wait, what?
Wesh.
No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I
J'ai
asking
fait ça?
you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Ah oui,
It was
j'ai
right
oublié que
here
ça
just
faisait
a
ça
minute
si je
ago.
prenais le chemin
I
du
know for
milieu.
sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then, it's an adventure. Come, Stanley, let's find the story.
En vrai, j'ai envie de partir à gauche pour le coup. C'est backroom ou quoi, frère? En fait, ça me fait peur. J'ai peur d'être bloqué là-bas, en fait. Je vais pas y aller.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Wesh, attends. Ah, donc si je reprends une sortie rapidement, en fait, il me refait recommencer le jeu
All of his
encore.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wesh?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? J'ai rien. Ah, ok, je retourne en arrière.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Non. Wesh. Wesh? C'est la première fois que j'ai ça?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Sérieusement?
Congratulations!
J'ai gagné?
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Non, 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 redémarre. Et voilà, le chien, il me redémarre encore.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Vas-y, je vais suivre le trait jaune.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Wesh, wesh, wesh.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Quelle fougère.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
D'accord.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Ouais, perso, je continue à suivre le trait. Est-ce que ça va pas faire une erreur si je retourne là-dedans?
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ok, j'espère que ce sera normal cette fois. Bon, ça va pas être normal, je le sens.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Vas-y, je te suis. Enfin, je te fais confiance.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Ouais, c'est vrai, c'est
What
cool.
our story to be. Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
J'aimerais bien qu'on crée une histoire de science-fiction.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette salle?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
La fin troublante?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Wesh, c'est passé quoi là?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Chelou le
Perhaps he had
truc.
simply missed a memo.
Bon là je vais faire vraiment que... Je fais le scénario de base? Non. Je suis pas comme ça moi.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Allez, let's go. Je me suis fait piéger. Ah non. Wesh, qu'est-ce que... What? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc
Hello,
là?
and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
J'espère. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Mais je trouve ça intéressant que le narrateur, il n'est pas juste narrateur, il a ses opinions, ses envies, tout et tout. Encore. Attends, quoi, je peux sauter?
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Je peux sauter. Allez, allez. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? 3, 2, 1. Ok, donc j'ai le saut pour le nouveau contenu. Enfin, j'ai pu utiliser tout.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Wesh.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Du coup, il a redémarré là le truc. Ok, le bureau, rien n'a changé. C'est là qu'il change. C'est trop bizarre. Wesh. Ah, il est où le narrateur, frère? Oh.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Attends, d'abord. J'espère que c'est pas un truc gros. Wesh.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me
Oui.
thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a
Vas-y.
look.
Wesh. Ça a l'air trop bien. Wow.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Ça a l'air apaisant.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
En 2013. Waouh. 20h. À un moment, je vais mettre à 20h13. Ils vont voir. Donc faut pas que j'oublie de mettre 20h13 au bout d'un moment pour l'heure, d'accord? Ok. Wesh. The Stanley Parable. Démonstration. Waouh, trop stylé. Eh ouais, non. Waouh, est-ce que c'est beau. Et calme et rangé.
Je suis dans la mémorisation, c'est sur l'abri de l'eau, et je n'attends plus que toi, mon amour.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was
Persona
all of
3,
them, and now it's
et
nothing.
aujourd'hui, ce n'est plus
It's
rien.
no games at all.
Ce
It
n'est
isn't even
plus
the
du
Stanley
tout.
Parable anymore. It's just a husk.
C'est une coquille
A
vide, avec 2
lifeless
heures de
husk
contenu,
with an
d'ascenseur en
hour of
plus.
new elevator content.
Waouh. Dessine le narrateur. Chelou.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to
PlayStation
the
et boum,
PlayStation.
terminé.
Boom, done. And they couldn't even do
Et
that.
non, bien sûr.
Couldn't resist the urge to go
Ils ont
meddling
fait-
with a beloved franchise. These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I
Attention
suppose I
frérot,
could
t'as
write
fait
up a
me tuer avec
handful
ton
of gags
commentaire.
to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Waouh. En fait, ce jeu, je pense qu'il faut prendre vraiment beaucoup de temps pour
Okay,
l'explorer.
let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Je le sens
What's this one
mal.
got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A
C'est vrai.
skip button?
Oui.
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go.
What?
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room.
Okay.
Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
Peut-être 2. Je suis resté assis durant tout ce temps. What? Je vois plus.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing.
Je suis le narrateur? Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Vite, le bouton, le bouton.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough.
Désolé, frérot. Ah, voilà. Le calme, c'est bien aussi. Si j'avais mis qu'il était...
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the
Je suis là, frérot.
end, is never the 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 end, is never...
Ok, là, ça devient vraiment flippant. La lumière. Je ne peux rien faire. Waouh, est-ce que c'est beau. Wesh. Je veux pas savoir ce qui s'est passé. Juste passer vite. Oh. Je le sens trop mal. Qu'est-ce que... Wesh. Je suis enfin libre. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Wesh. Est-ce que je peux repasser une dernière fois ou non? Non, je suis bloqué. On va essayer de trouver une civilisation. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Je crois que je vais mourir dans le désert. Je ne sais pas où aller. Wesh. Attends, ça veut dire... Narrateur?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Il est là.
What
Il
could
m'avait
it mean?
manqué mon pote le
Stanley
narrateur.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
News continues. Ouais, je vois, mais tu m'avais déçu la dernière fois.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Si tu veux, vas-y. Je fais confiance dans le temps.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley parable.
Parabole de... Waouh. Qu'est-ce que ça... Wesh.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Attends, quoi? C'est quoi ce truc? Collectible. Ah, il tourne sur lui-même le mec. Ça me fait un peu flipper ce truc-là. Vas-y, autant tenter.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh cool, j'en ai un sur 6. Ah, c'est le perso que je joue en fait.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic. Oh goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the bucket. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the bucket, okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
Les trucs de saut, c'est où, frère? Je peux pas sauter. Ah, c'est là. Ah, ok. Paramètres champion du monde. Attends. Chelou. Le merch. Pourquoi il y a que des t-shirts? Pourquoi il n'y a pas les figurines? That's news. Ouais.
An
Epilogue.
epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Il y a du merch, tout et tout. Waouh, comment ça est trop bien fait. Le truc du Busso, vas-y, je le visite. Je vais pas me refermer la porte.
A common complaint of the
Il m'a
Stanley
refermé la
Parable
porte.
was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Waouh.
Does
J'en sais
anyone
pas
give
tant
out
ça.
awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks... Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Le bouton, il a disparu tout seul, d'accord. Comment ça, des entrées, il y en avait qu'une, il y avait 2 secondes, non? Ouais, je sais pas, frère.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable too. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Ah bah
Now,
allez.
here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ouais, je suis content. Bon, je pense que je vais pas tarder à arrêter le let's play, je pense. Ah, ça m'a pété le crâne, j'ai rien pigé, frérot, c'est qu'il faut faire là. Tu vois, c'est bloqué. J'ai quand même ma tuile dans le noir, peut-être, on sait jamais. Et voilà, et bah, j'ai juste tenté. Bon, bah, je vais arrêter de let's play là-dessus, je vous dis à plus pour de prochaines vidéos. C'était le King, à plus.